Hi, this is GMAC for the Razor Company, and I do hope that the early part of 2025 has started really well for you and your family, and I hope that, as the year progresses, it gets even better. So today's shave is going to be a very interesting one because I have, three products to talk about, and as far as they're concerned, they're very near and dear to my heart for a reason. And on top of all of that, I've got another new product, which is a razor that I acquired recently that I'd like to introduce to you. But first, let's get down to the star of the show. I'm going to talk a little bit about Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. Doug and Fran own the company. They've done a lot of interesting stuff from, creating various scuttles, razors, their soaps, of course, first the Crown King and then the Crown King 6, which is the CK6 base, and those amazing fragrances. But what I've always been a fan of is the fact that while Doug pays, homage to some of the classic soaps and fragrances, it's also the brushes that he does it with. And today's brush is going to be the Amber Aerolite. This is one of my absolute favorite brushes for a reason. It's got a beautiful, it's just got that insignia, back there that you can see, the Amber Aerolite. And it's got that amber handle. You can actually... going to try and show you whether, you can see that's translucent in the light with a black glossy top. These fibers, of course, are very similar to probably the Peregrino, the Starcraft, the Phantom Aerolite. Slight differences, but normally it's mainly the color. The loft is 55 meters, and it's a 24 diameter knot, 24 mm. Now, if you look at this, it's a brush that has a decent amount of backbone as well as splay. So it does give you, a little bit of, there as you can see, it does give you a little bit of splay. I think it's a fine balance, and that's what you really require. I'm not a big fan of brushes that only focus on backbone. They're great for bowl lathering, but they fall short when it comes to face lathering. This one has a decent balance, a very nice backbone to it. The brush, of course, weighs 110 grams. It's not a light brush. And the whole height of it is about 4.72 inches, about 120 millimeters from base to the top of, of the knot. So that's the Amber Aerolite. You can try out any of the brushes. Most of the brushes available, including the Solar Flare. There is... the glow-in-the-dark one, I can't remember the name, but you can get that as well on, the Razor Company website. You can actually go and check them out. Most of the brush range is available there. Let's get down to the soap. The soap for today will be, I've got a sample of Diver Down, which is basically the PAA or, Phoenix Shaving or Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements homage to Seafood Spiced. Now, at one point of time, there were two soaps that always ran kind of neck and neck when it came to, that similar kind of fragrance. Shelton's Old Spice, and then, of course, was Seafood Spice. So Doug has paid homage to this. The soap, of course, has notes of spice rum, myrrh, Jerusalem pine, a little bit of lavender and cinnamon. Now, it's supposed to be spiced rum. I'm just going to show you what the sample looks like. I've already used it about, 3 times, so we're down to its 4th use. It's not really what people would call a bay rum kind of fragrance. There's a little bit of incense like in it, and that I think is due to the myrrh, and it stands out. And it's something that my folks caught when I was forcing them to smell the soap, which I do with every single soap that I get. But the lavender is there. It's got a touch of cinnamon. It definitely has a touch of rum in there. It's a very classy, relaxing, nice fragrance. I love it. Very powdery kind of finish. We take a few whiffs of it, and then you'll realize it's got a bit of a powdery finish to it. So let's get down to the ingredients in the soap. It's got glycerin, potassium, cocoate, kokum butter, shea butter, castor oil, jojoba seed oil, Kapoaku butter, I hope I got the spelling right, Mumuru butter, Bakuri seed butter, and a fragrance. So all that put together. Did I say shea butter? It's got shea butter too. So the Crown King 6 or the CK6 base has always been a fantastic one. It leads to a great lather as well. So I'm just going to soak the brush a little bit. Let's get down to the razor before I progress to anything else. I did pick up, over Black Friday and, in the month of December, I did pick up a bit of a Yaqi equipment, and I did use a razor previously. But today, it's going to be a very interesting one. This is, well, let me open it and show it to you. I really love this. This is the Yaki Sputnik. It comes in it's an aluminum razor. There's a nice little stand for it, and I'll show you the main razor as well. So always nice to use a razor straight out of the box. Sometimes I sterilize them, sometimes I don't, but that's the razor. It's absolutely lovely. I do love it. As I said, there's always going to be comparisons made, and somebody's going to tell you that the razor handle design was copied from another very well-known brand. I don't think so. I think it's slightly different, and it's aluminum. It's not even the same material as stainless steel. But all said and done, let's tell you about the razor. So the Yaki Sputnik goes along with Doug and Fran's science fiction themes. So the razor, of course, the diameter of the handle is about 13.5 millimeters. 83.5 millimeters is the height, and the total weight of the razor is about 52 grams. I'm sorry, I had to take those notes down. The blade gap, as you can see, is about 1.25. I wouldn't call it menacing, but it is strong. You can see it. And so 52 grams for the razor. The holder is 100 grams. It does not feel like a Gillette, aluminum tech. It's not very light. It's got heft to it. And more importantly, let's not forget, so 83.5 millimeters is the handle height. So that's a good height for me. I normally like 85. So let's get down to the shave itself. And you can actually get this, from Yaqi. You can Google, Yaki Sputnik online, and you'll find it. For the blade today, I'm going to be going with one of my favorites, also available at the Razor Company, and this is one of those products that I absolutely love. Everyone has a go-to blade. Mine is the Wizamet Super Iridium, so go ahead and get yourself this blade if you can. So let's load up the razor and get down to our first pass itself. As I said this earlier, always great to have some of your favorite equipment in there. I do love PAA soaps. I do love the Wizamet blade. I do love Yaqi products as well. They really make excellent products, and I've never ever had a problem with any of their razors. Always love them, keep them in rotation. So let's get down to the first pass itself. I was soaking my brush up, so if you get a chance to go down, go to the Razor Company website, check out the PAA products. Also check out the other products that are available there, like the blades, and not to forget the razors, the razors as well that are available. Sometimes you get Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement razors like the Monster Slant series. So that's how fast it is, isn't it? It's just a crazy, absolutely crazy base, the Crown King 6, and always surprises me because it kind of blows up really fast. So let's get down to the first pass. And it's always interesting when you're trying to find out, or to find a soap for yourself that gives you great cushion, that gives you great protection and slickness. And sometimes you fall short. You fall short because you've got to use a pre-shave, and I do believe that the PAA pre-shave, the Cube 2, if you haven't found it, use it in the next shave. But you normally don't need it too often with the soaps, unless you really are using a razor that's like a blade on a stick. But otherwise, you don't. But the PAA base always works wonders. It always works wonders for me as well. So just gonna whip this up a little bit more. I think I hydrated it a bit too much, but generally I don't have any issues with that. there's always, some shavers who do like a very thick yogurt-like lather. Um, for me, I can work with a watery lather, which normally works beautifully for straight razors. And it's something I insist on when using a razor like the R41, or the old version of the R41, or using an Icon Tech. And I think we're good to go with the first pass, so let's get started. Almost reminds me of one of the lads that I watch very often, and I really like him and his shaves, Matthew Lawrence, and he always starts with, "Hi, I'm Matthew Lawrence, and welcome to my channel." Oh, sorry, it's "Hi, I'm Matthew, and welcome to my channel." I think that's like the gentlest thing that any shaver could do, isn't it? So it's a big shout out to Matthew if he's, it's one of the lads I really love watching, and I've been watching his videos for the longest time, learned quite a bit from him. So let's get started with the first pass. Keep in mind the fact that this razor is very, very light. Which means you don't want to add any pressure to it. You want to keep it as easy as you can with the shave. A lot of the times, you'll have fellow shavers asking you whether a razor is aggressive or is it efficient, and there's a close connection between that. Normally, I wouldn't always put it down to blade gaps, but keep in mind the fact that a razor design is not just always about the blade gaps, and it's something that I learned the hard way. It's always about the blade gap, the exposure, as well as the way the top cap clamps the blade. There's so many things that go into it, and it's fairly loud, isn't it? It sings. Not like Freddie Mercury. I would say a bit like Chris Isaak. Maybe. Did you know that if you're a music fan, you have to know this? When James Hetfield of Metallica was recording, the so-called self-titled or Black Album, and a lot of feedback came in that it was not about raspy, strong vocals. I'm a big Metallica fan, and the producer, of course, then told him to listen to a few tapes of Chris Isaak to get his vocals to sound nice and soothing. Did they sound soothing? No, they didn't. It sounded like Hetfield, and I absolutely love it. I don't know if you're a big fan of music, but if you're a Metallica fan, what are the albums that you like best? For me, it's the first 4 albums, followed by the Black Album. But it's the first 4. Ride the Lightning is my absolute favorite. I have been riding the Lightning with this razor. It's been pretty fast. I would classify this razor as mild, and whenever I classify a razor as mild, at least for myself, I try not to get carried away with it, because it's fairly smooth. It's not one of those. It's got heft to it. It feels a bit like stainless steel, but when it's moving in motion, in action, it's aluminum. It's an excellent razor. That dimpled handle, you know, provides a very, very nice grip. It really remains in the hand. It's not slippery at all, like I thought it just might be because it looks so smooth. But no, it gives a bit of suction on the fingers to hold it. I'm not a master of design or even, you know, angle towards anything involving engineering. The head design, because it's a little chunky on the base plate, it doesn't allow you to use it too well on the upper lip, and that's just because my upper lip, you know, kind of has a little bit of a protrusion out here. Some people don't. Some people just have a very flat upper lip, you know, and I can't say it's what makes you happy because it's what you've been blessed with, so enjoy it all the same. I'm just going to get a quick cleanup. I don't want to rinse this off, and off late I've learned this with soaps where I like the slickness. Just get a wet towel and just, you know, clean off the first part of the lather. This retains the slickness, and every time I use a Phoenix, you know, or PA or Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements soap, I'm always surprised with the slickness. So let's get down to the second part of the shave. And that's the second pass. Oh, that's the strangest thing. Something that I didn't realize, which is there in, and I don't know whether it's the soap really, but I didn't catch this earlier, but it's almost like there's a touch of menthol in there, and I don't know whether that's one of the ingredients. Should probably read up on it. It's almost like a coolness, but it's not overly cool. It's not like, you know, when menthol hits your skin. It's almost like something that has colada in it. Some of the soaps do contain colada, you know, the Socialite by Zingari Man, Noble Otter, Orbit, if I'm not mistaken. They do have colada, which is a cooling agent used in a lot of candies and, you know, other jelly beans and stuff, I guess. You know that splay I was talking of, and I just wanted to show you that it splays so easily, and yet it's got such a strong backbone for lathering. PAA or Phoenix shaving brushes always blow me away. So, you know, go check them out at the razor company. You can't go wrong with them. I started with, you know, one shaving brush, and that was an Omega S brush before I decided to shift over to synthetics, and I've stayed with synthetics. I absolutely love them. They, you know, don't leave my skin irritated, but that's just me, you know. For some, badgers work well. For some, you know, bow bristles are really, you know, the holy grail of shaving brushes. But today, well, my brush count has gone up probably around 15, 16 brushes. Yeah, that's a bit, well, you go overboard, isn't it? It isn't a rabbit hole, really. It's a synthetic fiber hole, if I could say that. So let's get down to the second pass. That's a razor back again. Absolutely love the feel of this razor. And I'm going to be going first with Against the Grain. I've said this a couple of times, but you know, you really want to try avoiding pressure, because that's the one thing that leads to skin irritation. I've learned it the hard way. Sometimes, you know, I'm always tempted to go across the grain, and that's because I want to get a BBS, It's the time that you stop chasing a BBS that you start enjoying your shaves better. And if a BBS comes along the way when you shave, it's just, an added bonus. A damn fine shave, according to me, is as good as a BBS for the day, because that stubble is going to come back anyway. And if you do a DFS, or you're never going to get skin irritation, and you can shave daily. But if I were to go for a BBS, then I probably want to stay off tomorrow's shave and shave the day after. Just give my skin a bit of time to rest. Very smooth, very, very smooth. And the soap just, the soap just makes it so easy for you to glide with the razor. Absolutely love it. Probably want to try an even sharper blade in this razor at some time. Maybe I'll go in with a feather. I love the way this razor sings. It's very sweet in its vocal delivery, if that's the way that I can put it. I was never a fan of aluminum razors, to be honest. I do have an Icon Tech that I like very much, but this is the other spectrum of the Icon Tech. This is an extremely efficient razor, but it's mild. It's not mild in the efficiency department. It's mild in the way that it feels on the face. It kind of glides very easily. The razor head design is, and just the way that it's so nimble because of the weight. I love this razor. It's really, really good. I'm not doing any comparisons, and I would never do that with razor companies, but you know how the Blackbird TI feels on your face when you're whipping it around at top speed, and it's so easy to maneuver? That's what this razor is about. It's very similar. I'm not saying in the shave delivery, but the way that it operates, the way you can handle it on your face. Probably going to need just a little touch up on this area. Always have, worries with that part. So I was just talking about the Sputnik and how, it gets a bit difficult under the nose if you're going with the grain, but it's okay across the grain. So just a very quick one on the lower part. And I think we should be well good with that shave. So here we go. There's enough of lather in here to go for another 2 passes if you ask me. And I always get kind of carried away with PAA soaps. Just a little bit goes a long way. So there's no need to empty your tub. And that's one of the reasons why even samples last really, really long from, Phoenix Shaving. So it's not something that I usually attempt to do, as in go in with, to go in with a 2.5 or a 3 pass, but even with this blade gap being a 1.25, this razor is not threatening. It's not at all intimidating. It's quite easy. So remember, when you're going, across the grain in this manner, you don't want to do it with a very efficient or aggressive razor. You'll be left with a lot of skin irritation. With a razor like this, it makes it very easy. And with a soap like this, it makes it very easy for the skin, because, it kind of holds its own. Really great cushion protection and slickness from, from Diver Down, and from all the, the Crown King 6 or the CK6 bases. I just love the way this razor sings. Now that's it. We are done for the day. So just a quick cleanup before I can get through with my aftershave, and then of course recap all the shaving gear for you. That was very good. That was really, really very good. So let's quickly look at the gear for today. The first thing that of course I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to the star of the show, and that of course would have to be the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, or just let's call it Phoenix Shaving, the Amber Aerolite. It's still got lather on it. I absolutely love this brush. Go and get yourself one, or get yourself the Solar Flare, which is slightly different, or get yourself the Starcraft, which is another brush that I love and I have, or even the Phantom Aerolite, which has a nice little blue color to it. I did use the Yaki Sputnik, the aluminum razor, 1.27 blade gap. Absolutely fantastic, great razor, absolutely smooth. Love this design, the way that it glides on the face. You can easily go for a 3-pass BBS, but for me it was about 2 with a little bit of a touch-up, and that was it. I was sporting a 4-day growth, or 3.5-day growth to be honest. And the soap for today, I used a sample of Diver Down. It's just got the name on it. I just love it. It's got a slightly powdery kind of incense-like finish to it. The razor, of course, does come with the handle, with the stand, and when you mount it, that's what it looks like. So you probably want to get yourself one of these if it interests you. I totally recommend it. I totally recommend the brush. I forgot to introduce my Timeless TR bowl, and keeping in mind the fact, of course, that the best blades to use for me, my favorite blades, Wizamet Super Iridium, also available on the Razor Company website. Get them. So are the PAA soaps. But let's finish this off with one thing. So we said Seafood Spiced. That was the Diver Down as the homage to Seafood Spiced, right? How about we get the other spice in, the Shelton one? Old Spice. Absolutely love it. So I'm going to go in with the Old Spice. Oh, I just love that. One of those fragrances that is never going to die. So that was a great shave. I do hope you've enjoyed, watching the shave, and I've got to thank you for joining me and taking time out to watch it. But for me, GMAC, it's time to shut shop and ship out of here. And on behalf of the Razor Company, to say bye-bye for now, and I'll catch you real soon with another shave. Till then, you stay well and take care of yourself.